My name is Su Taizhu, 30 years old this year, just married a beautiful little petite wife. In fact, as early as when I was in college, I fell in love at first sight with my wife, Star Chow. She not only looks sweet, her skin is fair and tender. Especially that dancing long legs is at one time fascinated many boys. At that time I still dare not confess to her, only dared to sneak in the corner to see. Until a few years after graduation, I saw her at the company's annual meeting, when she was wearing a light dress dancing on it, bumpy body hooked my body hot. After trying to restrain, I rely on myself as the company's boss, taking advantage of the drunkenness in the Star of the Week to change clothes at the time of the pressure under the body. At first she resisted a little, but when she saw the strength of my lower body, she became a soft little lamb. Under the dim light, she swayed her bare buttocks, her eyes flushed red as she kept teasing towards me. Excited and thrilled at the same time, I gasped and lifted the hem of her skirt over her hips. Star, I love you. Star of the Week instantly narrowed her eyes and hummed softly. With the crowd outside, I and Star Chow entangled with each other inside. This moment I felt a passion I have never felt before. After some mutual warmth, Star Chow held my face and asked me, "Marry me." "Marry you?" I was overjoyed. This is my dream for many years. Seeing my face full of surprise, Star Chow thought that I was going to eat dry, and then began to aggravate. "What? Su Taizhu, you've also turned into the kind of person who only plays without responsibility. Where do you think?" I said and pulled up her small hand. "Marrying you is what I've always wanted to do the most. How could I refuse it?" "Really?" Star Chow said and drilled into my arms. "Then you have to give me a big diamond ring. Not to mention a big diamond ring. Is now she wants the moon in the sky. I will find a way to get it down for her. The happiness of holding a beautiful woman, relatively than those who bring the feeling of the smell of copper do not know how many times stronger." I thought of rolling over and once again pressed Star of the Week in the corner, she also more cooperative, and this experience feeling in my life afterward still let me fondly. After this time, Star of the Week became my wife. In order to coax her happy, I also specially for her to purchase a store to let her fulfill the dream of flowering store. The next year, I can be said to be the happiest man, not only the cause of doing a thriving, even his wife is also more and more charming. Recently, I do not know what week Star went to do what project, in doing which kind of thing more and more interesting to me. But I'm still difficult to meet, a night to several times, hard to resist. The Stars of the Week began to avoid the point of my home, often hiding in the flower store to the middle of the night. This day, I deliberately picked the right time to go to the flower store to engage in a sneak attack, but arrived at the door to find that the flower store has been closed. I looked at the time, so early to go back. Must be also want that thing. After all, several days did not let me touch. Thinking of this, I was full of joy and rushed towards home, after entering the door, tiptoeing in the direction of the bedroom. But just in the moment I went in, I heard a sound of water coming from the bathroom, and immediately walked over without thinking much about anything. Looking at the writing figure on the glass door under the light, I couldn't help but start a burst of excitement all over my body. After a few days of not touching it, Star Chow seemed to have plumped up a lot more. The moment she bent over and looked down, I could almost see the plumpness of her upper body, and the buttocks, like they were developing again. Between the left and right swing seems even more plump. Must know that I am looking outside, so bold to tease me. See, I will not treat you properly in a while. I thought of taking advantage of her back to the door in the wiped shower gel, directly rushed in, when the bathroom lights like a general response jumped the gate. Shrouded in darkness, but also make me more excited, immediately began to start towards this delicate body, began to caress. Following my previous judgment, I grabbed her plumpness at once, and after a few touches, it seemed to become even more palpable. She grunted as she squirmed. I saw this and wandered even more recklessly towards her lower half, her smooth buttocks being teased high in the air. Through my pants, I could feel a wet heat, and she was still squirming, like she was struggling or playing a fling with me. I fumbled with the tantalizing body in front of me and smoothly pressed it right against the corner of the bathroom, stroking it as she slowly inched toward my waist. It's so soft, so cozy. I squint and slowly unbuckle myself, yet just as I'm about to go to war, there was a snap and the lights came on. Looking at the woman underneath, a head of red hair immediately froze there. "See me stop." The woman, red-faced, pulled over the bath towel to wrap it. Then looked at me and said, No wonder the stars say you that's great, it seems she really didn't lie to me. Speaking, I am the woman line of sight collision, the woman in front of me is not someone else but the star of the week's hair small Zhang Jia. Although it is a good girlfriend, almost the same age, she is rosy cheeks, snow-white skin, exquisite body seems to be better than weak stars. Thinking of the reckless action just now, I immediately to her then apologized repeatedly, Zhang Jia, that. I'm sorry disturbed you to take a bath, I will go out. What's the hurry? The stars said that they can barely stand you anymore, and asked me to come and help look at it. Zhang Jia said with reddened eyes as she came closer towards me. I instinctively took a step backward, and just when I was a bit at a loss for words, Star Chow came out of the room. Seeing my reddened face and Zhang Jia staring at each other, she didn't get angry and instead pouted at me, "What are you doing here? Don't come into the room with me yet." "Into what room?" Taizhu is afraid that he won't be able to endure it. "I'll go change clothes, you guys feel free," Zhang Jia said and silently covered the bathroom door. But seeing that swaying figure, I knew that she must be right there waiting to see it, and at that moment an inexplicable urge surged to my heart. I lowered my head and glanced at Star Chow, and seeing that she was also leaping for joy, I picked her up in the air. "Honey, why don't we just stay here?" I said, roaring to take off her pajamas. Star Chow shyly burrowed into my arms. "Hubby, Zhang Jia is watching, why don't we let her come along too?" What? I couldn't help but open my eyes wide. Before I could react, Zhang Jia didn't know when she had already stood behind me, and her naked body came forward to put her arms around me. Between caresses, the heat wave that just came again, seeing Zhang Jia's hands slowly burrowing into my waist, Star Chow was also not willing to show weakness and came closer towards me. The tender touch of the two, I was provoked by the heat of the body, immediately turned around to pull over the naked Zhang Jia will be her and Zhou Xingxing together under the body. The two twisted their bodies under me, and I was just about to release myself when I pulled myself back with a handful of reason. This is simply too ridiculous. Zhang Jia is my wife's hair, even if the relationship is good, but at least it is another woman. I thought about looking at the poised himself or stopped. See, I did not move. Zhang Jia toward me shyly said, "Brother Taizhu, what are you waiting for? Stop, how also accompany the stars nonsense?" I said, picking up Star of the Week and hurriedly hid in the room. Seeing my red face and panting, Star Chow said as if she was drunk, "Hubby, how did you just stop? How could you let Zhang Jia do that kind of thing with me?" I said my eyes couldn't help but look up and down towards her, besides such a good thing must be all reserved for you. As I spoke, I could no longer control my inner turmoil and lunged towards Star Chow, who greeted me with a red face. Faced with my superior skills and robust body, Star Chow became gradually catered to, but seemed to be truly unable to resist me. Within a few moments, Star Chow began to beg for mercy, but I hadn't had my fun yet, and thinking of the scene between the two of them just now, I felt a kind of indescribable remorse in my heart. But in the end, I still held the bottom line. In the end, because I am too strong, Star of the Week can't hold back a little is also very normal. Thinking of this, I tried to restrain my heart's unsatisfied desire, and gently embraced Star Chow into my arms. Seeing that my breath was a bit unsteady, Star Chow said towards me, "Hubby, just now, did I fail to make you completely comfortable?" No, I'm quite comfortable," I said and hooked her chin. "It would be even better if you can satisfy me once more in a while." Hearing me say this, Star Chow immediately straightened up. She revealed her upper body and lay on my shoulder. "But stop it, I've just recovered down here, I won't be able to stand it if I'm too violent. Why don't we just call Zhang Jia, while she's helping out with the flower store these days to stay here temporarily?" Star Chow said with a twinkle in her eyes, "She's had so many men, she can definitely help me share together." Star of the Week's words made me instantly stunned. "Don't say this kind of nonsense again in the future, almost made a mistake today, she is at least your hair small." "Hubby, you just take it as a heartache, if you come like this every night, I will really avoid you in the future," Star Chow said and turned her back towards me, "unless you really want me to live in the flower store." Seeing that Star Chow didn't look like she was joking and was very determined, I couldn't help but feel a little joy in my heart. Then I wrapped my arms around her waist and moved up towards her ear. "As long as you're happy, you can do whatever you want, but you still have to satisfy me tonight. Ouch! With Star Chow letting out a delicate scream, I once again pressed her down. Before she could react, my lower half of my dick had already found the best position for another tangle. Star Chow was panting under my attack, and I only gave up slightly when I saw her soften into a puddle of mud. After calming down, I will weak Star in my arms, feel her sleepy breath, full of brain actually appeared Zhang Jia that naked body. But the more I think about it, the more I have scruples in my heart, because when I was in school, I had once inquired that Star Chow was a person with emotional cleanliness. After so many years, even if there are slight changes in other aspects, the deep-rooted character is hard to change. Could it be that Star Chow is trying to test me? If this is really the case, then I have to hold back. I can't lose out on a small thing and lose the wife that I married with great difficulty at that time. The next day, in order to avoid Zhang Jia, I purposely came back late from work. Whoever thought just entered the door to see Star of the Week is stripped naked lying on the sofa. The house is a burst of herbal smoky flavor. See me come in, Zhang Jia like nothing happened and I greeted, Taiju back from work? I'm doing mock Sebastian for the stars here, will you try it later? Me? I don't need to, right? I said as I turned around and was about to go back to my room. Star of the Week looked up and shouted at me, hubby, you change your body to a pair and try it too, Zhang Jia is a professional at doing this. Is it? I said as I turned toward the two and smiled awkwardly. Zhang Jia glanced in my direction, that's natural, I specifically went to learn, you guys have a lot of fire, you need to soothe it. Yes, hubby, it's rare that Zhang Jia is willing to take the time to do it for us, so stop dawdling and hurry up to get changed and come out. Star Chow said frowning at me with some impatience. I didn't want to make her unhappy, so I had to agree stiffly, and when I changed my clothes and came out the scent outside the living room seemed to be a bit more intense. Star Chow looked like she had slept through it. Brother Taiju, you move Star in your arms, she can't move her back right now. Zhang Jia said and gestured towards me with her eyes. I nodded my head and obediently moved to the side holding Zhou Qingqing as she said, and immediately after that, I took off my top and lay down on the other end. Brother Taiju, I'm going to start, it'll be a bit hot at first. Zhang Jia said as she picked up the alcohol and decontaminated the fire jar. Then she used the burning fire to turn around inside the jar again, and before I could react, it was sucked on my body at once. Zhang Jia put the jar near my shoulder and lumbar spine, originally thought it was just for me to wait quietly for time. Who knew that she actually came directly to my side, and the neckline that she opened while turning sideways made me blush. Brother Taiju, this fire cupping should be combined with massage to have the best effect. Zhang Jia said as her hand slowly clung to my shoulders, I'll rub you twice. Between the touches, I first shuddered, then a warm current flowed from my shoulders all the way down. I wanted to refuse but I was afraid of alarming Star Chow beside me, so I could only harden my head and let Zhang Jia's fingers roam around my back. That would be troublesome, I said as I slightly clenched my fists and slowly closed my eyes. Not to mention that Zhang Jia's technique was really good, it was even more comforting than the usual going to those professional places, especially in the position of my waist, pressing me all over my body was soothing. But gradually my body began to get hotter and hotter. In my heart there is always such a force that keeps surging outward, with that nimble fingers touching my skin. I actually have a kind of idea that I want to press Zhang Jia underneath my body and ruthlessly possess it. No, more than that, I also want to revisit the scene of that day, two women together and entangled, one hand embracing Star of the Week, one hand touching Zhang Jia. What kind of exciting experience. But soon I was shocked by my own this idea. At this time Zhang Jia seems to be see through my inner thoughts, take advantage of my not paying attention, those hands slowly dig into my lower body. Zhang Jia, I said trying to turn my head. Zhang Jia sat on my buttocks at once, don't move, it's almost the most important time. What important time? I said trying to get up. But the next second, my pants were directly stripped down by Zhang Jia. I instinctively wanted to break free, but I didn't expect Zhang Jia to directly sit up. She lifted up her skirt and kept touching back and forth on my waist. By her so a touch, my body is like being set on fire, hot and hot. Zhang Jia took the opportunity to pull down the canisters on my body one by one. Plucked to the last one when directly come up, to just the mark of the bite, and pain and numbness of the feeling will continue to my inner. That little idea directly expand. I tried to restrain myself, but the voice in my heart was getting louder and louder, and at the moment Zhang Jia looked like she had stripped herself naked and was lying on my back. Ah! We can't do this, the stars are still here. I looked at the sleeping star of the week, lowered his voice line and said, you hurry to let go. Ah! Speaking, I backhanded to grab Zhang Jia's next door, did not expect to directly touch the soft mass. The feel is warm and slippery. Zhang Jia also intentionally forward sticker. I immediately have to close my hand, but she pressed my hand toward me. Taiju brother, afraid of what? As a help me cannot. Zhang Jia, you do not joke. A moment the stars woke up, things can be big. I said, almost exerting all my strength to break free. But my whole body is like being drained of strength in general, can't resist at all. Watched Zhang Jia a little bit toward my lower body, twisting. However, just when it was almost about to break through each other's bottom line, Star Chow suddenly woke up, and she looked at Zhang Jia and me with wide eyes. I thought that she would be furious. Who had thought that she actually had the corners of her mouth rise up towards me? Hubby, this is right, Zhang Jia has been single for a long time, she just wants to find someone to enjoy herself. It just so happens that I also need her to share. Isn't this the best of both worlds? What? I thought Star Chow was deliberately testing my characterization, but I didn't think she really thought so. Thinking of this, Zhang Jia's hand had already begun to test towards me, and Star Chow had also begun to be a bit unable to resist in getting closer to me. In the face of these two beautiful creatures, what else am I holding back? Anyway, Star Chow doesn't mind. If I let such a good thing go and don't enjoy it, wouldn't I be a big fool? The more I think about the thoughts in my heart, the stronger. With the two people to me non-stop flirtation, I finally broke through their own bottom line, regardless of the pounced on. I don't know how long, I felt heavy, followed by unconscious sleep. Until the next day, I was a burst of telephone noise, the whole only instantly become awake, open your eyes to look around the time, found that only weak star lying beside me, Zhang Jia nowhere to be found. The phone was still ringing, I glanced at the number and hurriedly picked it up. What's wrong? What happened to the company? Brother Su, there is a problem with the company's new project. That side asked you to hurry and make a trip. Phone the head of the general assistant Zhang Kun toward me, anxious. Things are tricky, I'm afraid it will take a period of time. You remember to prepare more clothes. A moment, I'm waiting for you downstairs in your home. Hearing this situation, I can't think back to last night's events, but grabbed the time to wash up. When I cleaned up and ready to go, Star of the week only sleepy eyes rolled over. Hubby, where are you going? Star Chow said as she wrapped her naked arms around my waist. I somewhat reluctantly pinched her little face. There's an emergency in the company, I have to travel for a period of time, you be good at home, I'll call you when I get there. Oh, good, then you come back early. Star Chow said and wrapped her arms around me and gave me a kiss. Out of the door I got on the car, to the destination, began to solve the butt of the engineering matters, although it is a small problem, but the other side is inexplicably pestering. In this period Zhang Kun suddenly discomfort first went back, the original, and he accompanied me, the night to talk together, not so lonely. But Zhang Kun go, the night is still more or less some boredom, lying there full of those titillating images. Think of Zhang Jia and Star of the week, two people towards me begging to be entangled, I cannot help but body dry mess, hate cannot immediately go back, and then enjoy the enjoyment of this people's happiness. But this project thing will not end for a while, but good thing I am lucky, not a few days on the top of the approval down, I can go back in advance. Packed up things, I was ready to give Zhang Kun call to let him come over to pick up, but thought about the boy's health is not good, it is estimated that there is no recovery, so they called a car back home. That day I also deliberately cleaned up a bit, but I did not expect to rush home. The home is empty, but so late, is the florist still open? I thought and frowned, put down my things and found Star Chow's flower store, and sure enough it was still lit up inside. However, just as I was about to walk in, the scene inside made me instantly freeze. In order to see more clearly, I directly walked to the side of the small window and stuck my head in. At this time, Star Chow is snuggling in Zhang Kun's arms, looks like it's not the first time, the two people's movements are very skillful. I looked full of anger, was about to yell at them, but at this time Star of the week opened his mouth. Brother, you in the end have no grasp. Just that cousin of yours is okay, Don't be discovered by Su Taizhu at that time. Star Chow said and drilled towards his arms. I can wait, your son can't wait. John Kun smoothed Trent will her embrace, my cousin certainly reliable, rest assured, at that time not only his assets are the company that I also point out, this time designated to let him in. Yes, but I have a word in advance, things came to pass, I want more than the last time you gave me the price of 100,000 more. Zhang Jie said not knowing when she came out from whence she came. Star Chow was a bit reluctant when he heard it, what makes you want more points? Besides, this is something you volunteered for. Who am I to say? If it wasn't for me that night you would have been exposed, let me tell you, if it wasn't for the fact that you are the woman my cousin likes, I wouldn't be involved in this matter at all. Zhang Jie said and pointed towards the two of them, the two of you shouldn't go too far either, Su Taizhu is coming back after talking, in case we're found out we're all going to be in bad luck. Then what are you afraid of? My good sister, he won't be able to come back for a while, the engineering side is stuck with him. John Cohen said raising an eyebrow at the two. The conversation between a few people made the hairs on my body stand up and sweat, and after restraining my emotions, I left from the flower store. On the way back, I thought repeatedly and calmly, recalling those moments when Star Chow and I felt happy, only to feel like throwing up. At first I wanted to directly showdown with Star Chow, but then I thought about it, if I directly showdown and make a scene, she will still end up getting half of my assets. And then think of that day I and her and Zhang Jie mingled scene, not to mention in the end did not happen that thing, single in case they have video evidence. Then I am not. Hey no, think about it, I decided to use a well-thought-out plan to fight back, no matter how I have to protect their rights and interests, and at the same time, I also have to let these shameless people have tasted their own bitter fruit. So I gave the company's legal. Chen Yuan made a phone call. Chen Yuan is my hair small. He listened to the first shock followed by anger, and then he told me to let me first pretend not to come back, in his home for a few days to collect evidence, and then to see how to counterattack. Worthy of being a lawyer, not only fast reaction, but also very well thought out. Immediately I took things out of the house again. Downstairs when I heard the sound of Zhang Jie and Star of the Week, I did not even think about directly drilled into the garbage cans in the hallway, and waited until the sound of the two people gradually far away, I just secretly drilled out. Smell the stench of the body, I vowed that I must put these grievances to the time to return to them all unchanged. When I arrived at Chen Yuan's house, Chen Yuan first made me a cup of tea, and then he told me what he thought. Brother, I'll be straight, the company and Star of the Week things need to search for evidence, evidence searched, you then start from Zhang Jie's side, so that she cooperates with you to do the fingerprints again. Chen Yuan said and patted his shoulder towards me. I frowned and said, Zhang Jie is also a participant, how can I ask her to testify for me? She definitely won't help me. My good brother, you're so good at business, why can't you figure this out? Didn't you say that you probably don't even remember sleeping with her that night, and that all she can threaten you with besides the video is pregnancy? Chen Yuan said and nudged his mouth, let's strike first, don't let them get the jump on us. Yes, what Chen Yuan said makes sense, not to mention that Zhang Jie is unlikely to carry my child, and Star Chow is even more unlikely, because I have that aspect of the disease, it is very difficult to have a child. Thinking of this, I will according to Chen Yuan said the plan began to implement. The next day I first went to the hospital to open a diagnostic certificate, and then thought to go to find Zhang Jie. Who knows, just out of the hospital, Zhang Jie called me, the phone said there are important things to tell me. At that time, I guessed one or two, the fruit is not Chen Yuan's expectations. A meeting Zhang Jie said she was pregnant and said to let me be responsible. I just quietly watched her perform, and when she was almost done talking she took out her diagnosis. Zhang Jie, I'm afraid I can't be responsible for your child because I can't have a child. I said and showed it to her directly. Zhang Jie was obviously directly disliked by my move and couldn't say anything, but soon she turned her mouth towards me and said, then if you do that kind of thing, I can sue you, you'll have to be responsible for it anyway. I'll tell you the truth, on your behavior I can directly go to sue you, you are so beautiful do not want to eat inside. I said deliberately scare her, don't cut off your ears for some people, it's not just a matter of money, I have plenty, as long as you are willing to cooperate with me, not to mention a few 100,000, I promise to give you 1 million. Hear me say to give her 1 million, Zhang Jie immediately moved, but still brow some tightly locked seems not quite believe look at me. I saw the situation directly stabbed the matter of that night, but also put his hand part of the search for evidence of cheating to her see. Zhang Jie, you think about yourself, I have found someone to check clearly, you have no one to rely on, Zhang Cohen is the only relatives you can rely on, but people only use you still early for their own plans. I said a sip of tea, get up to go. Zhang Jie as a hand will pull me, line, I listen to you, but I want 30% of the advance payment. Deal. I said, and the next day I let the finance department make a payment to Zhang Jie. Immediately after that, Zhang Jie followed the instructions I gave her to let Zhang Cohen and Star Chow continue to date at the flower store, only this time, the monitor Zhang Jie secretly installed helped a lot. After arranging everything, I was ready to move Zhang Cohen first, because he is the chief assistant, it is not very appropriate to ask him to resign rashly, so I had to think of some small ways to ask him to leave. In fact, he is not sincere to Star of the Week, only because Star of the Week is in love with him as a love brain, if it has not coveted my financial strength, he will not be entangled with Star of the Week at all. After learning this, I rented a bureau, deliberately also called 2 beautiful women to accompany him to drink. Immediately after I let Chen Yuan secretly took a little photo. Not only that, I also deliberately arranged Zhang Jie and Zhou Xingxing passed by, when Zhou Xingxing saw Zhang Cohen left and right face instantly white. The next day when Zhang Cohen went to work, directly received a warning from the company's personnel, learned that he was about to go out, he must not be willing, so on the spot to my office to make trouble. I calmly invited him out, Zhang Cohen turned his head to go to find the Star of the Week, but he did not know that the Star of the Week also saw him and other women ambiguous picture. Just when Zhang Cohen was arguing with Star Chow, Zhang Jie appeared, she followed the words I taught her, intensifying the conflict between the two. Star Chow was already weak and uncertain because she was in her pregnancy, and the whole person fainted on the spot by such a mess. After the child is gone, know the result, I took the opportunity to the Star of the Week things to shake out and for cheating on the grounds of her out of the house. In a fit of rage weak stars and Zhang Cohen decided to take those videos to spoil my reputation, who knew that Zhang Jie has long been a witness also proved my innocence, and I in order to retaliate to the 2 men in the florist and all the things out of the storm. Zhang Jie saw the miserable fate of the 2 weekly stars on the thought that I promised to give her the money, in order to block her mouth, I did pay the final payment. But after that, I used the video of Zhang Jie's testimony and the recording of her talking to me about the deal to directly take her to court, because of the crime of fraud, she not only swallowed the money she got from me, but also made extra compensation. Finally, after I arranged everything, I went to other cities to expand my business and completely forget about the woman who hurt me.